The Buddhist sermon for today is given by the Venerable Beragama Piyarathana Thera.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the fully enlightened one, the worthy one, the blessed one. Dear friends in Dhamma, today I would like to discuss with you about the 8 worldly conditions, 8 worldly winds or 8 worldly vicissitudes. As all human beings, whether you belong to whatever religions, we cannot escape these kinds of worldly conditions. In one sutta, in the Anguttara Nikaya, Buddha explained that worldly conditions keep the world turning around. And the world turns around the 8 worldly conditions. So, whether we like it, whether we don't like it, we have to face all these worldly conditions. What are those worldly conditions? Gain and loss, and fame and disrepute, obscurity, disgrace, praise and blame, pleasure and pain. So these are the main 8 worldly conditions. So there are 2 ways of responding to these worldly conditions. We are unenlightened, uninstructed worldlings. We have not reached enlightenment yet. There are those who instructed noble disciples. So the difference is there. When as we are unenlightened, uninstructed worldlings, when we face these gain and loss, fame and disrepute, praise and blame, pleasure and pain, we react, we respond differently. And those enlightened beings, those who have reached the level of enlightenment, their response to these worldly conditions are totally different. We always shake and shiver and get upset, and when we have good things, we are very happy, and when we have bad times, very unhappy. Why I choose this topic is because this today's world, especially in Sri Lankan situation now, and also the world situation due to this COVID pandemic and due to current economic and political crisis in the world, made people so depressed, made people so upset because of conditions which they used to live, which make them more comfortable, feel safe and secure, and feel good about. Now all of these hopes and all of these situations and conditions have shattered and changed, and we don't have that much security, that much confidence to face the life. We almost feeling lost and no hope and like no light at the end of the tunnel. So that is why we need to energize our mind. That is why we need to strong our mind so that we face whatever these calamities, whatever difficulties, dangers we are facing and we will have to face in future. So that is why we need immune for our mind. We need kind of injection, immunization for our mind to face these worldly conditions. The kampati, buddhassa loka dhammehi chittang yassa na kampati. Having faced these eight worldly condition. If someone's mind do not flutter, do not shake, do not upset, and chittang yasana kampati, do not shake someone's mind, that is great, that is good. So, how the uninstructed worldlings are facing again, they will be very happy, they will be very elated, they will be very joyful. But when instructed disciple comes to any gain, how do they reflect? They will reflect like this. This gain that comes to me is impermanent. That this profit, this benefit or this kind of wealth I have gained, he thinks this is impermanent and subject to change and also bound up with suffering. So he will not be elated because, okay, I have gained this, I have this kind of gain. He will not be elated because of this gain. When any loss happen to enlightened person, he will not think, oh, I had this kind of wealth with me, I was very rich before, I had these facilities, I had these amenities with me, but I don't have now. I should be upset, I should be regret, I must feel suffering. No, they won't think like. They think the things with me were subject to change. They are impermanent, bound up with suffering. It is okay, let it go. This kind of mentality we also can train our mind. Mind is malleable, mind is workable, mind is changeable, mind is adaptable. Mind is not a permanent entity, it is always changing. So we are the masters of our mind. But what happens is we have become slaves of our mind. What we do is what mind says us to do, we will do. But we can turn these habits, we can change these habits, and we can become the masters of mind and let the mind follow our instructions where we think. Don't let your mind to dictate you. Don't let your mind to rule you or govern you, control you. Let you develop your mind and try to control your mind, develop your mind, and you don't become a subject of your mind, you become the ruler of your mind. So this is what this is what we need. When we want to have a happier life, we need to become the ruler of our mind. So for example, when we are famous, it's very nice, we like it. When other people praise us, we like it. And when our good reputation is spread all around the world, all around the country, all among the friends, we are very happy. But this is also impermanent. This is not forever. Sometimes you become very famous, sometimes you become very obscure. Your reputation goes down. Perhaps you get a lot of disgrace. So it is the nature of this interchanging world, because one time you are happy, one time you are not happy. One time you gain, one time you lose. This is inevitable thing. And during the time of the Buddha was accused so many people. For example, there was a lady called Sundari, very beautiful young woman. She used to come to the Jetavana every day in the evening, and she goes back to her home in the morning. And people saw it. After some time, it's a conspiracy done by some group of other religious people who was jealous of Buddha because he gained a lot of fame and he gained a lot of material things such as dana and all that. So they were very jealous of the Buddha. They conspired to kill this young lady, and they killed her and hid in the flower pit in the temples where the dustbins and garbages were put. All the dirty things were put. Her body was hidden inside this flower pit. So later the dead body was found, and the people began to call the Buddha rapist and the killer and the murderer and the looks like a innocent ascetic, looks like an innocent person, meditator, but you are a killer, you are a bad person, bad guy. And all, whenever he was going arms round with the Ananda Thero, and all the people were blaming him and scolding him and defaming him. And the Venerable Ananda said to Buddha, go in front of the Buddha while going on alms round, Venerable Sir, let's go to another town. We can't leave this town. People are hating us so much, blaming so much, scolding so much. Why don't we go, move from this city? Then the Buddha asked, if the people in that city also blame us, scold us and defame us, what shall we do? We go to another city. No, Ananda, we must face these worldly conditions. We cannot move from town to town or city to city. We have to face this. That was the Buddha's attitude towards the worldly conditions. Therefore, people, even though blame so much, Buddha stayed in this city, faced the situation. So in our real life also we need to have this kind of attitude in our life. And also now, of course, the life is so hard. We need to arouse our energy so much to face this hard situation, to come out of this difficult situation. In our day-to-day life, we might get discouraged so much because the prices of the things are gone up. So we might be very upset and no energy to do anything. I would like to tell you that during the time of the Buddha, there was a very great elephant. She was she-elephant, and she won many battles for the king. And she won the heart of the king so much, and the king loved this she-elephant so much. And one day when this she-elephant went to drink some water in a pond, she was stuck in the mud. More she tried to come out of this mud, more she began to sink. So the advisors, the elephant mahouts and everybody got together, try to get her out and put some ropes and try to pull her down and bring some more elephant to pull her down. Nothing works. More they tried, more she sank. It was a muddy lake. And the Buddha gave advice that you should go and beat the war drums, war rhythms around her. And the royal musician went to this pond, surrounded her and began to beat the war drums, war rhythms and the war tunes. And this she-elephant began to think, oh, I am in the middle of the battle. I should get up from this and try to fight the war. She had this mentality and her energy was aroused. And she herself get out of this muddy water. She was stuck in the mud. Somehow she got the courage and energy and got out of the mud. So, dear friends in Dhamma, we are facing such a situation in the current world, especially in current situation in Sri Lanka. We need to beat war drums inside our minds. We need to arouse our energy. Energy is there. Everybody has an enormous amount of energy in their minds, but we waste them for some other things, just like thinking and worrying and being upset and oh, I don't have future, I don't have energy, I don't have money, I don't have electricity, I don't have this, I don't have that. This kind of complaining mind. We need to get rid of this complaining mind and become like royal she-elephant and arouse the energy within ourselves. Bring out these energies within ourselves so that we can face this difficult situation, this bad, very negative and very upsetting situation, so that we can come out of these situations. And Buddha said, when people are criticizing, Do you know praise we like? We like the praise. If somebody comes and praises us, we appreciate it. And if somebody comes and blames us, we really don't like them. We hate them. Sometimes we don't like to associate them. We even don't want to see them. But when one sutta Buddha was taught that, two religious disciples, one was blaming the Buddha, other person was praising, his student was praising the Buddha. Both of them went with the Buddha in another long journey. Whole day they were blaming, one was blaming, other one is scolding and criticizing. At the end, the monks, in the evening when the monks gathered in the Dhamma hall, the monks told about this. Then Buddha told, if someone was criticizing you, blaming you, making bad remarks about you, you should not get upset. You should not lose your balance. You must have, and you must see, is this criticism, is this statement, is it true or not? So in the criticisms, they have constructive criticisms and destructive criticism, harmful. If somebody presents you a good constructive criticism, you must be open. You must be ready to accept this kind of ideas. Okay, I can correct myself. I can improve myself. It's a good opportunity. It's good that he see my mistakes and show me. Buddha says one time, Nidinang pavatarang yampasse vajjadasina. If someone sees a treasure and show you, go and dig that place, there's a very valuable treasure. You must dig it and use it. So if someone show you your mistakes, you must not be upset. You must be very happy. He has shown me a very good thing so that I can improve. It's like showing me a treasure. That's how Buddha said we must look at these kind of difficult situations. So criticism is okay. And in our life, we always like to take pleasure. We reject pain. But in our life, we cannot always get the pleasure only. For example, if you are sitting 1 hour, at the beginning when you sit down on the chair or in a comfortable sofa, you feel better. You feel very comfy. But after 1 hour, after 30 minutes, 40 minutes, maybe your backbones are aching or your sitting bones are aching, or neck is aching. So this is the nature of our body. It doesn't give you pleasure only. It will also give pain as well. So we need to adjust to these feelings and be aware of these feelings and how they are arising, how they are sustaining, how they are going to die. Because that is the beauty of the world. Some people don't like impermanence, anicca. This is the beauty of the world. If it is everything is permanent, nothing changes, you cannot live in this world. If you have a headache become permanent. If you have fever become permanent. So this changing thing, changes in the world is very beautiful thing. It helps you to face any situation very positively, very constructively, very useful way. Because you know that no matter how this good situation is, it will change. No matter how bad, how worse this situation, it will change. That is why we must love the concept of anicca, impermanence. One of the universal nature, whether Buddha is there or Buddha is not there, this impermanence is there. There is no permanent thing called. And when we have pain in our body, Buddha said we create a second pain. This is called second arrow. Buddha said if some person was shooted with an arrow, you have pain in that area where the arrow is hit by this arrow. But based on that pain, you mentally proliferate more and more pain to the inside your mind. Okay, there's an arrow hit in my hand. It is so painful, it's so painful. It is getting worse or this arrow might have some poison in and it might kill me. So this kind of mental preparation, overthinking, and making more strong thoughts in our mind, that will create more and more pain in our mind. That is why we need to find that our mind is the biggest expand. We have the ability to over exaggerate any situation, over exaggerate our pain, over exaggerate our loss, over exaggerate our blame. For example, if someone blames you dog, you might think, okay, he called me dog, he shouldn't have told me dog, I am not a dog, I am not suitable to call him to me as a dog. So that person has told you one time dog, and you yourself tell to yourself more than 5-6 times dog. So this is our nature of our mind. We always expand and accelerate and mentally preparate our thoughts, and so that we will increase the effects of our pain, effects of our loss, effects of our blame. So that is our nature. One time there was a great king, but even though he was a great king, he was very extravagant. He spent the wealth of the kingdom, he spent the money, all that resources of the kingdom lavishly and without thinking about the people, without investing those resources for future gains. He just destroyed all of the wealth of the kingdom, and the kingdom became very bankrupt. Now nobody to look after the kingdom, the economy. Then king was upset. He used to have every evening some kind of parties, concert, and some kind of merrymaking events and enjoyment, pleasure giving events. Now he cannot have those things because his treasury is empty. Now the people also upset. Then the ministers try to encourage the king and try to change him and try to do something to change this situation. But now king goes to his room and sleep all the day and maybe eat little bit of food, and he's very upset. Then the one minister thought we should change the mind of our king, and he prepared a very nice beautiful ring, quite a little big ring, and in that ring he wrote a message, this too will pass. And he was given this ring to the king and asked king to wear it and look at the king every 1 or 2 hours or 3 hours. And he began to realize that this situation too will pass. So as we had bad times, good times, everything will pass. So good times will become bad, bad time becomes good. This is interplay, interchanging world. So the king's mindset has changed this message. So we must also think that in the current situation we are facing will change. It will change. It might change for better, it might change for worse. It doesn't matter. We will face it. We will change our mind to, we will immunize our mind, we will make strong our mind so that we can face these calamities, difficulties, economic tragedies, and all difficulties we are facing. That is what Buddha said, Puttassa loka dhammehi chittang yasana kampati. We should not shaken by all these shaking events happening outside world. We must make strong our mind so that we can face the 8 worldly conditions. That is the message for you today. May the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha bless you, guide you, protect you. Namo Buddhaya. Sabbe satta bhavantu sukhi satta. May all beings be well and happy.
The Buddhist sermon for today was given by the Venerable Beragama Piyarathana Thera.